Hi, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Christina.
And this is our podcast,
Let's Chew the Fat.
Hello.
Wow.
We are back with a very exciting episode. Well, we'll see. Today we're going to talk about Daisy Jones and the Six.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk a little bit about the book, but more importantly, we want to talk about the series and how we experienced the series, if we like it, if we dislike it, what we liked, what we disliked, all of it. Because we're very passionate about it, and we figured, why not share? So maybe you can share your opinions with us too.
I really want to know what people think.
Me too. I'm very excited about that. So please, if you've watched it, let us know if you agree with our opinions or not. But that's for the main part. And first, we're going to look back at this past week.
Yes. I was working on Saturday, kind of, not per usual, per bi-weekly usually.
Every once in a while.
Sunday, I was just like catching up with stuff like house maintenance. Like I washed my clothes, I cleaned my room, I think, or was that the week before? I don't know anymore.
We don't know.
Time is a weird concept for us. But yeah, I mean, the weekend was kind of like relaxing. Okay, I worked. I caught up with some things I needed to do, so it was okay.
I really can't remember what I did. I think on Saturday I went and got bagels. Oh yeah, it was Christina's birthday. It was like her birthday weekend, not yours. My dad's friend Christina's. So we went and we got bagels. On Sunday I worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I caught up on uni stuff. I just wanted to have a productive day. And then on Monday was very nice. We had the day off because of, well, I still don't really know why. I know that Sunday was Father's Day, but I don't understand why you would have Monday off then.
I didn't think it would be because of Father's Day. No,
I
think it was
told
just
from
that it was because of that.
Yeah, but it wouldn't make sense to me.
I mean, because Adela was saying that they had like a day off too, but they had it until Wednesday because of Fallas, so she doesn't know.
I think it's probably unrelated.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because she's in Valencia.
Yeah. I mean,
we had the day off.
Exactly.
And
so what did we do?
It was a wonderful day. It was sunny. It was warm. So we decided to go to the park, to Retiro, here in Madrid. Excuse me. And we did the rotation painting that we did a while back already. Which basically you bring like canvases or paper and a bunch of paint or like art stuff. And then each person, well, we did with 5 minutes and then we changed it to 8 minutes. You have like 5 to 8 minutes to paint whatever you want to paint. And then you give it to the next person until every person has added something to each masterpiece.
I mean, truly. I think at first, because we did 2 rounds, and at first I think we were
scared to mess it up.
Yeah, we were more cautious. We were like, ooh, like looking at Pinterest for inspiration. We're like, what to do? You know, I want this to be pretty, blah, blah, blah. And with the second round, we just went with it.
I mean, things
took turn.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was really fun. It was extremely warm. I mean, I burned my middle part of my head again.
People got sunburns. And we met up at 11, I think.
Yeah,
that was the plan. We met up a little bit later, but I was like, usually here like 5 or 4 is the hottest like point of the day. So I was like 11, it might be a little bit cold, you know, like there were also supposed to be a little bit cloudy.
I wanted to wear a tank top, but I was like, you know, but if we're like sitting down, we're not moving, we'll be a little bit colder. If it's windy, we will be cold. So I think I wore actually a long sleeve t-shirt.
Me too. I wore a pullover. And I brought another sweater in case I got cold.
Yeah.
But
we had multiple layers.
It was so warm. I mean, it was beautiful.
I don't remember. Oh, I think I was wearing like a long sleeve t-shirt and then a jean jacket, and then in my backpack I had like a sweater if I was cold.
Yeah, exactly like me. Yeah, I was wearing a sweater.
And we didn't need any
brought another sweater. No, not at all.
I mean, in the end I was glad I was wearing a long sleeve t-shirt because otherwise I would get burned all over my body.
Yeah.
But it was extremely warm. But it was really nice to just be sitting there in the sun and painting. I just miss it so much. And you know, because when we were saying in the group chat, like, I'm taking paintbrushes, I'm taking this and this, I was like, guys, you can take something too, because we had some supplies from last time.
I didn't expect anybody to have anything because in my mind everybody doesn't own much the way we do.
Yeah.
I forgot that people have stuff.
And then when Laura sent her whole like box of art supplies, I was like, I miss my box of art supplies.
Honestly.
But it's fine. I'm gonna go home for the summer and then I'll paint.
And we got to use hers. So
yeah.
No, that was amazing. And then, well, class started again on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Then Wednesday we played padel again.
Yeah.
Which was fun again. I just missed it so much. I really like playing.
It's so much fun. It really is.
Oh, we went to get a drink with, well,
oh
us
my
girls,
goodness,
because it was Sophia's birthday. So we went to get a drink and just hang out for a little bit.
And we met up, like, the 4 of us two and Paula and Laura. We met up a little bit earlier.
True.
To, like, prepare a card for her, because we bought a bunch of stickers because she loves stickers. And we created a card using the stickers, and we all, like, each of us wrote a little note into it. And so we met up like 10 minutes before class to do that. And in the end, it took us a little bit longer, so we were late for class. And Sophia was sitting there by herself. At some point, she went into group chat, like, where are you guys? And then Christina came up with some excuse of, oh, I'm late. Paula was like, oh, I got sick. And she was there thinking that we left her by herself.
On her birthday. In a class full of people, and she was like sitting in the front, because we always sit in the front.
First
yeah. And in her mind, she was like, it's my birthday, so people are, I mean, just like in your head, you're like, no, they're looking at me like, poor girl. But I mean, we
showed up.
Yeah, we showed up, and then we gave it to her. She was happy.
'Cause stickers.
Exactly. She got a sticker book.
Yeah. And afterwards, yeah, we went and got drinks.
And then I feel like I did something. Oh, I edited the vlog on Wednesday, right? I finished it. I posted a vlog. Then Thursday, full of classes, the usual. And then on Friday,
highlight of my life. I know I already said that about last Friday about the geographical center of Tiberian.
Because we keep making Fridays fun and interesting, you know?
Yeah. So this time around, we started this idea that actually I think you had, which is to just get into, to take one of the cercanías, which is like short distance trains here in Madrid, and just to kind of see where it takes us and then explore that new area, because we want to get to know Madrid and also just the regions, or the region of Madrid, I guess, not just the city, a little bit better. So we finally were like, because we kept like thinking, oh, we need like a whole day to do it, and we couldn't find enough time to do it. So we were like, why not just Friday afternoon? Like, let's try it out.
I was a little bit stressed out just because you don't know where you're going to be going. And, you know, I mean, it would have been nice in the end if we had more time.
Yeah. But better like this than to just always postpone it because we don't have enough time.
And, you know, we are holding ourselves accountable because we talked about, I mean, I said it in the episode about like the not New Year's resolution,
right
where I said that I want to like get to know the Madrid or the region of Madrid more, and now we're saying it here that we're actually doing it.
Yeah,
you know?
And we filmed it all, so we want to turn it into a vlog too. And it was just, I mean, we ended up in the most beautiful little town. Like, it took us like 1.5 hours to get there from Atocha, from like the center of Madrid, and it just kept going.
Well,
I mean,
we went to Cercedia.
Yeah,
we still don't know how to pronounce that.
Cercedia, probably, maybe, possibly. And we went pretty high up. We realized like Madrid is on like 600 meters, and that town was on 1,200 meters.
Yeah. So I had a headache because of that.
Yeah, we were in the mountains, and it was beautiful.
The train ride was the best thing ever. Like in the beginning, we were reading because we knew it was going to take us some time, and like in the beginning it was through places we already know,
and tunnels underground, a lot of it too.
But then it got beautiful, and we just kept looking like one side, other side, like we didn't even know where to look. We were truly amazed, because then at some point there were these like very cute, beautiful kind of fancy houses. Then there were animals. We were like, was that an animal?
No, we saw. First, I was excited about a cat. Then I got excited about cows. Then we saw horses. And on our way back, we saw deer.
So many.
I want to say like 20 in one like spot.
Yeah.
Never
I feel
in
like
my
even
life.
more. Like at that 1 second that I caught, it was like everywhere. Everywhere.
Insane.
And
like
it was with the sunset.
it was the sunset. Oh my
can't-
goodness. Yeah, it was on our way
explain it
back
enough.
with the sunset, and they were just there in the grass eating.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to like know more, you can see the vlog.
Yeah,
just
because
because
we could go on forever.
Exactly. But just because we like set up some rules, you know, for this kind of type of experience.
Even when we want to be more flexible, we still need rules.
Well, I mean, I think it's good, you know, because we have a rule to not look into, like, literally, I just realized we did the whole thing yesterday without maps, like
Yeah.
the whole thing,
That's true.
you know, and we were able to find kind of quote unquote the center of the
Yeah.
small city, and we had a drink with tortilla in a beautiful place on a terrace.
Mm-hmm.
So I am really happy that we finally did
Me
this,
too.
and I hope that we find the time to do it again this
Mhm.
semester. I mean, if not, we can always do it the next semester. But it was just amazing. I really loved it.
Yeah, definitely.
So today we are going to talk about Daisy Jones and the Six, the series. I mean the book as well a little bit, but mainly about the series because we finished watching it yesterday.
Mhm.
Yesterday was the day when the last 2 episodes came out, right?
Mhm.
So I am really, really, really interested in what people think about it. I need to go either on TikTok or somewhere.
I've seen
really
a
need to
little
know.
bit on TikTok.
What was it about, like?
It was, I mean, some of them had similar complaints to what we have, which we will
Mhm.
get into. But there was also a lot of, I'd say, positive stuff. Like people making
Okay.
edits of their favorite scenes and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, let's start with the book because we both read it. How long ago did you read it?
6 months, 7 months, 8 months.
Okay.
I think I read it during the summer.
Okay, I read it summer right in the beginning of the semester, right?
Yeah.
I mean, which is not that long ago. And I absolutely loved it. I mean, I for sure talked about it in some of the episodes
Yeah,
at
you
the
did.
ending part. But I really loved the story because I think I said this, but I didn't feel like it was a roller coaster. For like what the story was, I felt pretty calm and like interested because you know that those are like interviews. It's in a way of interviews. And so you know that like all that they're describing is like from before. So you're like calm because you know that it not necessarily like ended well, but you know it's like resolved, it's done. It's not
Mhm.
like it's happening
Yeah.
in that moment. So I felt kind of calm. They were describing like what was happening, and it just all made sense to me. I was amazed by the book because honestly it did not feel like there weren't any cliches, you know. It felt original to me but also very like real, you know. I was really happy with that book. You?
Yes, I agree. I mean, I absolutely loved it. I loved the whole interview style, as you said. I think it worked really well. And I agree with the roller coaster. Like, I think it was more so than like a really dramatic story with up and downs and plot twists. I feel like it was more so just a story about people and relationships and like people that make mistakes, and the fact that like everybody, like nobody's perfect, and like just I don't know how to explain it, but for me it was more about the characters and their flaws and their relationships with each other than like this dramatic plot line, which it was a dramatic plot line. So it's weird to me that the focus still was on the characters. And I think part of that was because it was interview style and it was like the characters telling their story in the past. So they'd already like processed it all.
Exactly.
So they delivered it to you in that way. And yeah, I loved it. I felt like it was a beautiful story about like complex relationships and
how they, like you said, they weren't perfect.
Yeah.
They were like really flawed, most of them. But I mean, as we all are. But they, like, you could see how they were like working on it. And they were fighting for the relationships and for a certain type of life, of living life. And obviously it wasn't difficult at all. Like, it was really difficult, but they somehow managed to do it. And again, like, in the end, it wasn't like this big happy ending, because it's not like life is in real life. So I really liked the realness, and that it wasn't like the dramas weren't exaggerated. So I really loved that.
And I feel like with that type of story, it could have easily been turned into like a cliche type of story,
which is what happened with Daisy Jones and the series.
Wow, what a spoiler. And somehow she managed to write it in a way that it just seemed like a normal story that you could hear from like somebody that you knew in your life. And I love that. I think that's enough for the book, right? Or do you have anything more to say?
No.
We loved it.
We loved the book. And I think then, because we really hyped it up, because I mean, I had to read the book like fast, and like you forced me in a good way, obviously, to read the book, because you were like, oh, this year's coming out. This year's coming out, so we want to be ready, we want to watch. We even like had a whole plan when we were like, we're gonna drink wine, we're gonna bake something to watch the first episodes, you know, when it first came out.
We turned it into an event.
Yeah, I mean, not anything like crazy. It's not like we organized the whole thing. It was just like for us to make a nice evening, and we were excited to watch. I mean, I knew that when they turn books into movies or series, I know that things are never 100% the same. So I knew I was kind of prepared for that. But I mean, still, I was still disappointed. Again, spoiler alert. So we were really excited about it, and we were like, yeah, let's watch it. And so we did.
I think another reason why I was excited for it was because of the casting. Like, that to me, it was a really good casting. Like, the characters in terms of looks, when I first saw the actors that they chose, I was like, okay, that's kind of how I imagined it in my head, because that's a first like point where turning a book into like some sort of visual media can like, they can really go wrong and they can mess it up. As if the characters, like, you pictured them completely different in your head, that will already mess it all up. And for me, that was good. Like, the casting was fine. So then I was like, oh, this is going someplace good.
I don't remember, honestly. I don't remember how I envisioned them, because now I already just see the people from the series, you know? I don't remember. I think you saw the trailer before you read the book. Because I feel like I showed you the trailer to motivate you to read the book. So maybe that's why. Either that, or when I was reading it sometime in the beginning, I feel like.
Because that might have been why you didn't have like a set picture of the characters in your head. Because you already kind of like maybe even subconsciously.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean, it has happened to me, like when I read something and then it's a book, I just like after I just remember what they look like in the show. It just like merges in my head, I guess.
I have a question though, because I feel like right now it's pretty clear that we didn't particularly love the show, and we're gonna like point out a couple of like points further on. But was there something that you did like?
I think in the beginning I wasn't convinced, but towards the end I think the actors were really good.
Okay.
Like, I think the emotions, because it was a lot about like emotions and like side eyes and all of that, like basically body language in general. So I think they did a great job with that, the actors. I don't have one complaint about one actor. Like, I think they all played it really well for what they were supposed to play, you know, the script. So I think I really like that.
I agree. I really can't complain. Like, the casting, the actors, I think they did a good job. I think was good.
Anything else you have? I can't think of anything else that I would like particularly love.
Let me think. I guess, no. I like the whole vibe of it. I like the aesthetic. I think they did a good job of kind of capturing the 70s rock band aesthetic that I feel like the feeling that you kind of get from the book without making it like look cheap or like cliche.
That's true. That's true.
Like, they didn't put any like dramatic filters on the entire show to make it look like more
That's
70s.
true.
The outfits were good without being like cliche. So I think they did a good job at that
And I
too.
think they took attention to detail.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I noticed anything that wouldn't make sense with that aesthetics and the time that they were, like, it was happening in the 70s, even 60s. Did it
I think it began in the 60s,
right?
Yeah, possibly.
So I think they took attention to details, which I really liked, because maybe the professionals that are gonna pick this apart will find something, but usually I find things like this, or I notice things like these, and then it just distracts me from actually paying attention to the story, the movie, whatever.
And I also saw an interview with the woman who played Daisy Jones. I can't pronounce her last name, that's why I'm not saying it. Riley
something.
Keough. And she was actually saying that in preparation for her character, like, she was going through fan art, she was going through TikToks that people made, and she tried to find, like, drawings of Daisy Jones, and she tried to find the common denominators. She was like, oh, in 95% of the fan art of Daisy Jones, she had like a flowery like top on and stuff like that. So she find for her outfits and for her like style ideas, she tried to find like what was most like dominant in the fan art. And I feel like that's a great way to approach it too.
That is really cool, to be honest. I mean, I really would be interested in like a process of actors preparing for like their roles, because I think it must be really interesting like what they do.
I mean, for the band, they did like 1 year of intense practice, and they had like a band camp, because none of them were musicians, I don't think so they had to like learn to play the instruments, learn to sing.
That is crazy.
So they did like a band
I just
camp
thought they
style
chose
thing.
people who can play.
No,
that is
none of the main ones, I don't think so. Maybe like the guy who played Warren, or like but like Billy, Daisy, and Simone, none of them were in any way musicians. So that's super interesting, the like behind the scenes of that.
Yeah, that is really interesting. But okay, let's dive into, because I was gonna say with the costumes.
Yeah.
For example, with Daisy in the beginning, I was like, no, this is not her at all. But later on, especially the last few episodes, like at the shows, I think were perfect. Because I was gonna say that in the book, I would say the book was very detail oriented. Like it was, for example, the buses on their tour, when they had to, they were described very specifically. I don't remember, but I remember that the author like talk about the color and like what they looked like. And so when I was watching the show, I was like, this is different, So, but with Daisy's clothing, I think at the end, especially because she was like, when she was on stage in the book, she was described as this like euphoric, eccentric person. So I think those outfits like fit perfectly.
I think also the beginning, when you weren't so happy with it, was when she was younger. I think it was before, so maybe they were trying to show like her like growing into herself, because I remember when they showed like 16-year-old her, which was actually different actors too, you were like, that's not at all how I imagined her. But I think she kind of was like a different type of person too back then.
Yeah. But if we go into more of the story, I think like the first half of the episodes, I didn't like how they were portraying the characters. Like Daisy specifically, I remember that it literally seemed like she was this happy girl who's just living her life. She's living with her best friend, making songs,
Yeah.
And you could see none of the drugs, none of the struggle she was dealing with. And I was like, this is not her at all. And also, she was what is it called? A pushover?
Sure.
Like, when people like stomp all over her. Just a person who like, she wouldn't stand up for herself. She would just let people, which in the book, I don't think she was like that even in the beginning. I think she was like, ever since the beginning, she was like very determined. She knows what she wants, or like she fights for what she thinks she wants and how she wants to do it.
I mean, she did also have the moment where the one guy that she was dating stole her song and she didn't do anything about it. That also happened in the book. So maybe, I mean, I guess it's a lot of it is also like how you interpret it. Maybe we interpreted her to be
maybe. But
different in the book.
Now's the time to take out my notes.
Okay.
And I have a lot for the people who are watching video. This is all my notes.
Also.
Okay, a lot. And we're not gonna go like through.
Don't worry.
We're not gonna go crazy. It's
not gonna be a 3-hour episode.
I just need to look, because after each episode we wrote down some notes so we will remember. And the beginning I have written down that like we felt like it was going really fast, like the story. You know, like we were in a second episode and we're like, oh my god, everything almost already happened.
And important stuff like the development of certain relationships, I feel like Billy and Daisy's Billy and Camila's relationship, like I felt like there was stuff missing because like the foundations of the relationships, I feel like they kind of rushed that in the first couple of episodes, and then that was missing in the later episodes. That's true.
And then I wrote out, so far love the way Daisy sings.
She does have a nice voice.
But Camila, I think there's an expression, they did Camila dirty.
Sure.
In the sense, I mean, in the literal sense, but also because she looked like she was just a girl running around like a puppy with her boyfriend, you know, that she didn't have anything to do. Whereas in the book, like, I loved her character because you could see that she sacrificed a lot, but at the same time, like, one, it was for cause. Two, it was reciprocated, you know, because they're like Billy and Camila, they were fighting for each other. They were fighting for their relationship. And like in the movie, she was just like, you know, a girl who's like, yeah, let's just go with this guy.
But I feel like in general in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like towards the end, you could see that she was, I mean, like you said, she was basically a therapist for all of them.
I mean, yeah. I don't know, but like in the movie, I felt bad for her. And I never felt bad for her in the book. I felt like she was aware of what she was doing. She was aware of her role within the band. She was aware of her role within her relationship with Billy. Like, she did what was right for her while also looking out for others. Like, I never felt like she was being walked all over or taken advantage of or anything like that. Whereas in the series, I did a lot of time, especially towards the end. I was like, Billy should not get back together with her. No, like, she should not get back together with Billy. Like, you know?
Yeah,
I felt like she had to go through so much that she didn't deserve. Whereas in the book, I had less of a feeling like that. Like, she was just a strong character who knew what she wanted and who fought for what she wanted.
And I think also what they changed was that in the beginning, she didn't go with them to LA, was it? Where they, in the end, signed the contract, and I think they recorded the album and then they signed the contract or something like that. And I remember that specifically, like in the beginning, she didn't go with them because she was like, I'm not gonna give everything up
for your dream.
Exactly. And I think they even broke up, I think, and then they like called each other and I'm like, we miss each other, blah blah blah, and then they made it work. Then she went on with them, but like she kind of like, I think they got engaged and stuff like that. So like it was different, and you could see like her strength in that, not just like running around with her boyfriend, where in the movie it was like, yeah, I'm gonna go with you, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, she questioned it for a second, like you know, when they were sitting out on the stairs for a second, she was like, I'm not coming with you, what do you think? But then in the end she did. I feel like they changed a lot of things, or like cut out a lot of things in the series that showed her strength. Also with like the last episode, like where she was talking to Billy and was like, do you love her, and then she basically broke up with him, and then her fighting with Daisy, like that didn't happen. And I actually saw a TikTok of that this morning where this is one of my favorite scenes, and they cut it out. They didn't cut it out, like they put parts into other scenes, but it was where she goes up, like Daisy is like falling apart, like crushed. She goes to the hotel room. Daisy sees her crying. No, Camila sees her crying, and she goes into the hotel room with her, and like they have this long talk.
True. And
I think it's what in the end motivates Daisy to get help. It's what motivates her to like create a life for herself, to have children, to like think that she is capable of creating a beautiful life for herself, and so on and so forth. And that entire scene is so beautiful. The part where she's like, wait, I wrote it down. Camila is saying like Billy does love you. Like she tells Daisy like, Billy loves you, but he will stay with me, like he will always stay with me.
True.
And this doesn't end until somebody breaks. And she's like, and it's not going to be me, and I will not let it be Billy. So it's going to have to be you and stuff like that.
True.
And then she says, like, I care about you. I think that you can do great things in life. So I want you to have a beautiful life. Like, it's just this beautiful, beautiful, powerful speech that I feel like shows that she cares about Daisy, and it helps Daisy a lot, but it also shows her strength, and that she's not just like hanging around waiting for like Billy to come running back to her and asking for her forgiveness or something, and that she really doesn't care that much about the fact that Billy loves Daisy, you know, that she still believes in their relationship more, whereas that does not happen in the series.
Yeah.
When she's saying like, do you love her? Tell me if you love her.
They did like do this kind of like you said in multiple scenes,
yeah,
but they also switched it, because I think it was in the very last episode where Daisy was playing the piano and then Camilla came in, but Daisy was saying he will always choose you, he loves you, whereas in the book it was the other way around. You know, like Camilla was like, you know, I know we're always gonna be together, he's gonna always choose me, he loves me. And like, but they turned it around, and
then it makes Camille look weak. And also the fact that Camille walked in there wanting to pick a fight with Daisy.
Never.
She would have never.
No.
Ever.
No. That's the thing. Like, she knew that Billy and Daisy had this connection, even some like, I think love, but like platonic love, you know, like in a way where they knew that they don't actually want to be together. Like, they did feel this very powerful and strong, like magnetic connection between them, but like Billy knew that Camilla was the one for him. Yeah, you know,
if he wanted to have at the end of the day, he knew that like him and Daisy, for God's sake, the names were not good for each other, and that Camilla was good for him.
Exactly. And Camilla knew that, and she was like, she trusted Billy. She knew that he's gonna choose her, and she decided to trust him in this, even like with drugs and alcohol. When he gave that up and like was sober, she was like, I trust him, and they built that relationship off of that trust. Yeah. But like literally in the series, it's just like
it's just a dramatic love triangle.
Exactly, basically. Where Billy is in love with Daisy is in love with Billy is kind of in love with Camilla, and Camilla is this just like girl. She's like, does he love me? I don't know, so I'm gonna cheat on him with his band member, which I swear did not happen
way too loud.
in the book. I swear, like, no, if we missed it somewhere.
It didn't. I'm sorry, it didn't.
Like, I was like, how? No, like in the book, to be honest, I don't 100% remember if Daisy and Billy like kissed here and there or something. Daisy and Billy, yeah, I don't remember. I can't for myself say that they never did anything.
No, but only once. Then only once.
And so then I was gonna say, like, Camilla and Billy, they never crossed the boundaries of like cheating or running away, you know, like they trusted each other. And yeah, there were these, what is it called, like tendencies when you're like, oh my God, should I do it, should I not do it, but they never crossed it in the end, you know. Whereas literally in the series, it's just like this drama where everybody cheats on each other, and then I seriously hated the relationship between Billy and Daisy. Like, I couldn't
Billy
even
and
watch
Daisy?
at some point, because I was like, no, like they made out so many times, and Billy looked like he doesn't even necessarily love Camilla. He was just like, I love Daisy, what am I gonna do?
He literally, with honestly, not just things he did, but things he said, it made it seem like he was just staying with Camilla because he didn't want to get divorced, because he didn't want to, like, not because he cared about her in any way. Like, he was like, I'm gonna stay with Camilla because she's my wife. Well, great. You know?
Yeah, and I did not like that at all, because that was my favorite thing in the book, that like it was super hard for them, and like that relationship wasn't easy, wasn't like calm, and you know, but they fought, they trusted each other, and even there were some like slip ups. Like Billy did slip up with like alcohol and drugs, but like he knew he needed to become the person Camilla deserves, and he did. Same with Camilla, like she stood by him the whole time, supported him, and you know, I love that, because that was this like real love and real fighting for each other, whereas in this series it was not there at all.
No, and I feel like in the book it was fighting for each other, but not in a stupid way. Not that you just stand there and let the other person treat you like horribly, but you still stick around. Like, that's not what it was like in the book at all. Whereas in the series, it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like, with the way Billy was acting towards the end, I was like, I need Daisy to run and I need Camila to run.
Yeah.
And he doesn't deserve any of them.
Yeah.
And in the book, I didn't get that feeling.
Yeah, because in the series, I was kind of sorry for Daisy because he was just playing her, like kissing her one day, telling her nothing's gonna happen ever.
As soon as he thought the marriage with Camila was over, he went back to her and started making out with her again. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Yeah, so that was like the thing I hated the most about that. This like made up drama.
Unnecessary drama.
Yeah.
And that's also, I think, why they made Camila cheat with Eddie.
Yeah, so it'd be kind of like equal or something.
I guess so, or to add more drama. And then there was more tension between Eddie and Billy than there already was. And it also made it seem like Eddie disliked Billy because of Camila and the way he was treating Camila.
Yeah, that was not true at all.
He disliked him because he was like not taking the whole band into consideration. He thought he was the center of the universe whatsoever. Fair points. Because he was horrible at times. Yeah. And that should have been the focus. Eddie was kind of the one who pointed out all of Billy's flaws in the context of the band, basically.
Yeah.
Which that got lost in,
but in the series, it was just that Eddie was in love with Camila, and because of that, he had an issue with Billy. I felt sorry for him in the series. In the book, I was like, yes, fair point, but I still don't necessarily like him as a person, but I was like, fair point. Billy's an ass.
Yeah.
But in the series, I was like, poor guy. Yeah. You know?
Well, but then he cheated.
No, I meant Eddie.
I know. Well, but then, he helped his wife cheat on him. Which I feel like made him worse again.
So,
let's not forget.
We had another technical issue.
By that, I mean, my freaking microphone fell.
So, what I was going to say is, let's not forget the big thing of them literally, my favorite word, literally deleting 2 characters out of the whole thing. First was the band member. Yes. Right? Where that one, it's just a little funny to me. Like, I want to see the people sitting at the table like, which of the members, like, we need to save money. We can't pay for all of them. Which one is the least important one? Which one will we eliminate? You know?
It's weird to me. It's weird.
I don't get it because that one, he played an important role. I guess they merged it into Warren, who did, but not even really. Like, Peter was his name in the book, right? He was kind of like calming Eddie down all the time, but at the same time, he was like with him in the sense where he was like, yeah, Billy is an ass, like he's not treating us right, and he knew it. But Peter, I think he had a girlfriend somewhere, and so he knew he's gonna stay in this band. And then in the end, he did quit, but like peacefully, and then he married that girlfriend, I think. So I think they merged it into Warren, kind of, you know, so. These two people, which I loved Warren. Like, he was just this funny guy. He was like
comedic relief when we really needed it.
Like, I loved him. So they eliminated him. And then I swear, I feel like there was another guy. Like, there was Teddy, Don,
Rod. But he was there. They were all there. But Don
I feel like there was
showed up
guy.
like once.
Wait, Don was...
He was the one who gave Teddy the car, no?
Oh.
But he was like minor. I mean, I feel like he was way more present in the book. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so, honestly.
And then you were like, they eliminated 2 characters.
I said them, no? I thought it was Peter, and then I thought it was Don. But like,
I thought you were going to talk about the kid.
Oh, well, a third one. True. They eliminated.
She's like, I demand another kid.
No, because Billy and Camila had 2 kids together. And that other kid, yes.
The second kid, were they twins? Because I saw a TikTok this morning that was like, oh, they didn't want to give Camila and Billy another kid because their relationship was a mess. So they gave the twins to Warren.
Oh, true. I don't even know if Warren had... Like, even the famous actress, like, I don't even know where they came from. And that whole like scene, because she opened like their show on the SNL. Saturday Night Live, and she literally said like, hello, this is my new favorite band, Daisy Jones and the Six. That was all she said. And then Warren was like, you were so funny, you were so good tonight. And I was like,
but she probably did other stuff that we just didn't see.
Okay. But the second kid of Camila and Billy, that kid,
twins.
They were twins?
Well, now I'm confused because of that TikTok.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they just took away their one kid and gave Warren twins.
Okay.
I think. I mean, it fit their family.
Take it away
thing.
and double it.
Yeah. But that kid was important for the two of them because, like, it was, because with Julia, the first kid, he, like, missed her being born and being then the first couple of weeks or months. Whereas with the second kid, who was like, I am going to do this, right? I think even because of that kid, he decided not to do another, like, album or another tour or something. I remember, like, he was like, yes, I love it, but I need my family. I want my family. That's what's important to me. That's what I'm going to focus on. Yeah. I think in the book, like, there was something like he was still playing here and there, but maybe for himself, like making songs. And they completely eliminated the kid. And basically in the end, honestly, Billy, like, with him wanting to stop doing what they were doing, with him, it wasn't there. It was basically with almost every other member, but not Billy.
Yeah.
So I demanded that second kid and it never came.
Another issue.
Yeah.
For me was, well, I have a lot. So, okay, but another issue for me was the ending of the series. Because somehow they made the ending of the series look like, by the ending I mean when Camila goes like, oh, tell Billy to give Daisy a call.
Hated that. I hated that.
And in the book, I didn't mind it. Because it seemed natural. It seemed just like the right thing to do. And they could like reconnect, maybe make more music together. Kind of like reconnect because they were similar, Yeah. And maybe they could find some common ground. Not necessarily reconnect in a romantic way or anything like that. Whereas in the series, for some reason, it came across as like, oh, fate took care of it. Camila's now dead. She's finally out of the picture. So now these two that were destined to be together can finally be together.
I hated that.
And I hated that.
Because I told you yesterday, but I don't think you resonate with me so much because you've never seen How I Met Your Mother, right?
No.
But for the people out there, please, I need your support. I swear that ending was literally the same as How I Met Your Mother. Because in How I Met Your Mother, I mean, this guy is telling a story of their lives, of all of them, the friends. And in the end, like, he found his one. It was all about that. Like, he was explaining the story of how he met their mother and all the stories that led up to it, all the events. And then literally that woman, she died. After a couple of years, they had kids together and then she died. And they were like, okay, let's go to this other woman that she was supposed to be with somebody else. But in the end, they were like, yeah, in the end, the kids told him, Dad, you love this woman, so you love Aunt Robin, so just go there, knock on her door, and be together. Like, in the end, after the one died, which literally happened in Daisy Jones, like, they made it seem like it was about Daisy and Billy the whole time, which was not true at all. Yes, I think in the book, it was something like, give Daisy a call.
Yeah.
But in a more, like, fun sense, that they should like reconnect because now they're both hopefully healed and they could be maybe friends or something like that, or create music together again, but not to just be together because they're destined to be together.
Yeah. And Camila said something like, your dad and I, we had such a great
wonderful
marriage.
Which,
which I do not believe for a second. But now, like, it's Daisy's turn. Like, it sounded basically like that.
And I hated that with every fiber of my being. Like, they made it so wrong.
And it made it look like Camila was just, like, taking Billy away from Daisy for, like, the time that she was alive. And, like, for her own, like, selfish, what do I know? And then as soon as she knew that she was gonna die, she was like, okay, like, I've had my time, now you take him. Like, it's super weird.
No, I really didn't like it. And it was a little bit weird to me how much space in the end they gave to Julia, which is Billy's daughter, because she was the one filming the documentary, which was like a really cool thing at the end of the book. Like, it shocked me. A nice reveal,
yeah.
Exactly, a nice reveal, a nice like of element of surprise. But in the series, somehow they basically the last episode, it was half of it was about them like talking to each other, which seems weird to me. Like, why give so much time and space to a character that is not there the whole time, and then you don't have necessarily connection to it. Yes, she was there as a child, and she was pretty important in the story, whereas I mean in the book she was even more than what they made it in the series.
I think they were trying to create some like closure, some kind of big closing moment, which was not
it was
necessary.
Really cute. I almost cried during that scene. So it's like, yes, it's very cute, but it just seems like a little bit weird, to give so much space to this, whereas they should have focused on more important things.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of another thing where why give so much time to something that in the book never even happened, which was basically an affair of Camilla and Warren. No, Eddie. Sorry. But not give enough space to, for example, like Graham and Karen and the abortion and
that
like
was
their
super
story.
rushed.
Exactly. That was really, really rushed. So I don't know who was deciding this, and I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I felt like the
person.
weight was a little bit off. Like what they decided to invest a lot of time in and what they decided to just kind of scratch the surface of. Another thing that I felt like was kind of missing, which it is difficult to kind of portray this in the form of a series, I guess, but I think it's Billy's whole struggle with addiction.
Yeah.
I feel like we saw more of it with Daisy. I feel like they ended up showing more of that. But with Billy, it's super weird because you see him drinking, yeah, and you see him doing drugs like maybe once or twice. And then all of a sudden he's in rehab. And then you see him for the next 7 episodes struggle with his addiction and not relapsing and him trying to kind of stay out of that mindset and, you know, and relating to Daisy because she's also struggling with addiction. But it seems, if you only watch the series, it seems like he barely struggled with it.
Yeah.
And it seems like never on the level of Daisy. Like you kind of don't understand why they connect through that. And I don't know, again, it was in the first couple of episodes, which I felt like they rushed a little bit. But I don't understand why they did that because that is the foundation of the show, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Like in the beginning, the drugs were, like I said, even with Daisy, she looked like this happy girl, no issues. You know, I feel like they did a better job like towards the end where they implemented it more. But
it kind of came out of nowhere then in her.
Yeah, exactly. Like I
thing.
wonder what people think about that show if they never even read the book. Because like I said, I knew this happens and like I was prepared for some discrepancies.
Of course.
But this to me was horrible. Like completely different endings, details, whether small or big events, you know.
It's just like if I had to summarize the book and I had to summarize the series, I would summarize them completely different.
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't know
yeah.
that they were connected,
Yeah.
I would be like, oh, the series is about this and this and this. And I would say the book is about 3 completely different things. And I think that is a problem.
You know, I also had a question. Like, do you think we would root for Billy and Daisy if we never read the book and just watched the show? I wonder.
That's true.
Like, I really want to know what I would think about it. Like, if I would even like it. Because now I'm probably never going to watch it again.
That's why I really want somebody to watch it, like, out of my friends who's never read the book before. Because I want to know. Because, you know, maybe if you perceive the relationship between Camila and Billy very differently, then you would root for Daisy and Billy. I don't know. You have a completely different image of the characters, I feel like, if you didn't read the book, because the book is more intimate. I feel like you know more about what's going on in their brain and their feeling and their thoughts and why they make these decisions. So maybe you would have a completely different impression of everything.
Yeah, I really wonder.
That's interesting.
And one last thing, which I think was also messed up, very messed up, was the scene where Daisy basically overdosed when she was doing drugs with her husband, and Nikki, her husband, like he freaked out, he froze, he wasn't able to do anything about her, and at that moment Daisy literally saved herself. Like in that moment she was like, he left me here. So like she had multiple realizations. Like she realized, okay, Nikki's not the guy for me. Like he literally would let me here die, not because he's an awful person, but because he's not like good enough. He's also not in this correct state of mind because he was also doing a lot of drugs. And she was like, okay, this is my lowest point. This is awful. I actually don't want to die and I want to get better. And she pulled herself out of that hole and rut. And in the series, they made Bailey save her, which for me, it was like a big no.
And just like cliche Hollywood
exactly,
again, no?
Exactly.
Like her waking up after overdosing and like looking up to seeing him, it's like, it's unnecessary. And changes the whole thing, basically. The whole point of that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought when we were going to record this episode, it was going to be something completely different. We would be happy and we would be excited after watching it. But I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I really liked the way the actors, like for what they were playing, like what they had in the script, I think they did it really well. Like you could catch these like faces they made that
in the interviews too. I really like that. In the interviews too.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. I like that sometimes they just put like when they didn't even say anything, but just like their face or like a second of them. I liked that. That's true.
Yeah, and if you liked it, don't take this personally.
No, yeah, please. But I really want to know
our impression. And I feel like, people interpreted the book in a different way.
Probably.
So then that probably honestly influences whether or not you like the show a lot, like your impression of the book.
But we're for sure gonna put a question in Spotify. I think, I'm not sure if you can see it elsewhere, but at least if you're listening to Spotify, please let us know what you thought about the episode, because I really want to know.
Also, like, comment under the post on Instagram.
True.
Like,
so either there
people can interact, and we can like reply to you there too, because that would be so much fun. Like, I really want to know.
Me too.
I really want to. And also, if you've watched it without reading the book, like, let us know what your impression of it was, and the characters and the relationships. Please. I need to know.
Me too.
Book club. I hate us for that.
I don't even know how that happened. We didn't do it like this in the beginning. No. I was just like, okay, let's do book club. And then we're like, book club.
I'm having a really hard time right now because my leg is cramping because it's waking up from being asleep, but it's fine. Let's just continue. Okay, books. I finished mine.
Applause for Lauren, please.
Thank you. Did it take me literally 2 months to finish a book that has like 150 pages? Yes. For context, it was the second book of Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I read the first book. I really loved it. I read the second one. I liked it. I didn't love it as much as the first one. Something about it is just, it doesn't flow very nicely when you read it.
Okay.
And I saw a TikTok or something about somebody talking about that. And then in the comments, people were saying that maybe it was just the translation. Because a lot of people were saying, like, I liked it, but it didn't flow nicely to read.
But what is I thought it's
Japanese.
Oh, that's true. That's why.
And I think, honestly, because, like, I was like, I like the content. I like the stories. I like what they're trying to tell me with these stories. It doesn't come naturally to me to read it, which is why it's kind of difficult to read it fast. And I saw a lot of people in the comment section say the same thing. And then people were also saying maybe it's the translation. Like, the translation is kind of, like, clunky, if that makes sense. So maybe that's it, because content I love, stories I love, just the way
confused, like whenever you said that you really like it, but still you aren't being able to finish it, which was weird.
And it was just the way it was written, which honestly might be the translation.
Yeah, that would make sense, honestly.
But yeah, in terms of content, I would recommend. I think it's a like beautiful like story, and like it gives you a lot.
I finished the book The Time of My Life by Cecilia Ayern. I read it in a week. I'm really proud of myself because I haven't done this in a while. I mean, literally in the summer I read a book in 3 days, but that's different circumstances,
of course.
And I liked it. I read it really fast. Like, it was easy to read. It's just the story, I probably said it a little bit in the beginning, I'm just going to quickly recap. It's about a woman who is unhappy with her life. Like, her boyfriend dumps her, she gets fired from her job, so she moves into this like small apartment and takes up like a normal other job, like translating manuals for appliances or something. And she's like in a pretty unhappy stage, but she doesn't realize, or she's like lying to herself, and then also she's lying to all of her friends because she doesn't want to be embarrassed about her boyfriend dumping her, being fired, blah blah blah. So she doesn't even communicate with them a lot because she knows that either she has to tell more lies, all that. And so there's this apparently agency where you have a person who's basically your life, and they come to you and they spend a lot of time to you, and they're trying to help you like get back to being happy or something. So that was, for me, that was a really cool concept, and I liked the story. I like how he helped her because it was a guy, and like how he helped her basically like get back on track. But in the end, it was just a little like weird, because I think you have to be really careful with how you portray the relationship between the person and their life, because it is a woman and her life is a guy. And so the thing is that the guy, because the woman is horrible, obviously the life he is called the life. He's miserable as well. So like the more she is happy, the happier she is, obviously her life is happier, right? But in the end, he was portrayed as this like handsome guy, and she even wanted to kiss him at the end, which was really like weird to me, because
he's her life.
Exactly. So like the end was a kind of
they
like,
tried to like make it into like a love story.
Well, no, not really, because she had like, there was a love story like with another guy, you know, so it wasn't like a love story. It was just like, I think throughout the whole book they did it well. Like they were kind of like friends, they were comfortable. She would even like change clothes in front of him because she was her life. But in the end, I think they made a mistake.
That concept a little bit is blowing my mind.
It was, you know, yeah,
yeah,
me too. So I think the author should have like thought about it a little bit more carefully, like how she's got, like they didn't kiss because her life was like don't, because you know.
Yeah.
But that
was like don't.
That was a little bit weird. But other than that, I really liked it. I read it really fast, which is right what I needed. Mm-hmm. So it was nice. Yeah.
Amazing.
I would recommend it. And now,
Song of the week. Which do we want to clarify real fast?
Yes.
Okay, so we quickly introduced this whole concept of Song of the Week in our last episode. And basically what we want to do is we want to give you our Song of the Week, one per person, and then we're going to post those on Instagram on our stories, and we're going to let you guys vote on which song you prefer. Whichever person loses will then have to do like some sort of exercise, some sort of dare. We'll figure it out. We haven't established it yet. We'll let you know when we do in the next episode.
Yeah, because it's always no, it's the thing is, in the way we're recording, because we're recording an episode before we will get the results. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna, for example, today we're gonna say our favorite song or the song of the week, and we're gonna talk about the results of the Instagram poll in 2 weeks episode.
Right.
Just so you know, because it's gonna be a little.
There's always one episode in between, just because of our recording and editing schedule.
Yeah, exactly. So just so you know that it's gonna come. And now, for the song.
Yes. Are we gonna say the same one?
Are we? Because what is your song of the week?
Mine is the new Lewis Capaldi song. Yours too? Yeah. No.
So the song is
we're
Lewis
already
Capaldi,
failing.
How I'm feeling now.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's ... how I'm feeling now by Lewis Capaldi.
Oh, it has ... before that.
What if we just take that as a general one and then we each choose another one?
So my song of the week is gonna be Sugar Sweet from Benson Boone. And I have to say, I didn't like that song when I first heard it, I think. Because, you know, he is the, like, TikTok guy that, from that TikTok generation, that they post their music there first to promote it before they even drop it and stuff like that. Which we love, obviously, having to wait for a song.
Yeah.
And in the end, like, I either heard another, like, snippet, like, another part of the song, or I just decided to actually listen to the whole song, and I liked it. So now I'm listening to it, and I like it. So now, what is your newly chosen song of the week?
Okay, I mean,
here's to my beautiful life. Now I see it in my head.
I love it so much. Okay, so I guess my second song of the week would be Dorothea by Taylor Swift. Because I don't know, like 3 days ago I kind of rediscovered this song and its existence, and I am not obsessed with it. Like yesterday, it's all I listened to while I was working. I just love it. It has like this comforting feel to it. I think it's nice to listen to when you're maybe, I don't know why I'm talking about this. It just has a comforting feel to it, and I really like it. All right. Yeah, that's my song of the week.
So that's a wrap for today. I hope you like it. Again, please tell us what you think about Daisy And I mean, in general, if you want to say something about any episode, if you want to share, you always can do that on Instagram under our post our weekly dump
where we
post
announce the episode.
Yeah, exactly. Or in Spotify, where we'll be posting a question. And please, if you can, give us a review, the usual, please. But it really would be nice. So
yeah,
if you want to, you can do that on Spotify or Apple Music,
Mm-hmm.
Apple Podcasts. And it would be really nice. So thank you for listening.
Yes. Have a nice Sunday.
Yes.
And a nice week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode.
If you want to get in touch, you can find all of our information in the description below.